Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. And today's video, as you see by the title, I'm going to be talking about the five players, my top five players that are the most important for Leeds United's running for the rest of the season. No particular order, but I'm just going to go through players that I'm going to say if they do get injured, I'm going to be worried. If they get injured, I'm going to be worried. And how important they've been this season for the team, basically, is what I mean. That's what I'm going to go through right now and go through that. Let's start off with the first player that I want to talk about. It's going to be maybe a bit of a controversial one with some people, but Iliam Melier. For me, if he gets injured, I am worried. I am worried. I do not trust their other two goalkeepers. Darlow, do not trust. He has not had good performance when he's played. I think he played against he's one game. I mean, he only played one game and it was in the cup, wasn't it? But yeah, he's not. I don't trust him at all. And Klaassen as well. Do not trust him. Do not trust him in goal. I know he's got every single game he's played. He's got a clean sheet. He's had no shots faced at him. Melly is the only keeper that I trust to make saves and actually be the keeper that could save us if there's a one-on-one chance in an important game to make a save, just like he did when we played Leicester earlier in the season and he made that wonder save, so he won 1-0. It's moments like that where he makes great saves one-on-one. He can make good saves, and I think he's underappreciated and underrated at the club. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, and every time we keep a clean sheet, it's always the defence. It's got nothing to do with Melier. Melier's done nothing. Melier's part of that. And the most annoying thing is people say that kind of stuff, but last season they were blaming him even though our defence was leaking shot after shot after shot. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, it's Melier's fault for conceding all those goals, even though the defence were non-existent last season. But since our defence is really good this season, it's not because of Melier. You can't say that for me, and that is why I think he gets a lot of stick, and it's kind of unfair. Next up is going to have to be the best player in the championship and our best player, Crysencio Somerville. I know we have a bunch of wingers that come on. We've got Dan James, Nonto, and Anthony as well. But Somerville this season is the reason, the massive reason why we are where we are. He's got us out of games. His goals, our best goal scorer, our top goal scorer. That's what I meant. Our top goal scorer, the best player in the championship, in my opinion. And he's just been incredible this season. Losing him, it may not be as bad because you got Anthony who can slide in there, or you can put Dan James there, or you can shift Nonto to the left and play DJ and Dan James on the right, and you can do all that. And it won't be as bad as some other positions if we lose them. But I do think he's massive for the team, especially how he's played this season and how he's been our best player. That is why he's in there as well. Of course, number 3, let's go with the next one. I'm actually going to say a recent one who's come into form, Ilya Gruev. Now, I'm going to go about Ilya Gruev and say he's been amazing. I think ever since this turn of the year, he's had an over 90% pass accuracy. And I don't think he's had one bad game from the turn of the year since the start of January. Not one bad game. Great performances, and I think he's played really well for us. He makes his good tackles as well defensively. He shows up defensively as well. Good tackles, plays well. It looks like he's improving every time he's on the pitch. I really like him. He can play great balls over the top. He can make good tackles, good defensively, good on the attack. The perfect midfielder in this team, and maybe we're not in trouble as much if he does get injured, but he's a player that I think has been very crucial since the start of 2024 in this team, and that's why I would go with him, Ilya Gruev. And now number 4, the fourth player I can talk about. Let's talk about Joe Rodon. In my opinion, the best centre-back at the club. It's hard to say, but I think he's a great defender. I think he headed everything that comes at him. Everything that comes at him, he just headers it away like it's nothing. Every time there's a ball over the top, it's always Joe Rodon. Every time there's a corner or a set piece, it always seems to be Joe Rodon that just goes, bang, get that out of there, and he just heads it away. Great performances. I don't think he's had many bad games, maybe 1 or 2 this season, maybe 1, 2 or 3 bad games this season. Overall, Joe Rodon's played really, really well. I like him in the back line, and every time a defender comes running at him and in a one-on-one situation where if he gets beaten, then they're through one-on-one with Melier, I'm not worried. A lot of the times, I'm not really worried because I think Joe Rodon's going to make that tackle. Joe Rodon's just always going to make that tackle. And that's why he's in this list of players that are crucial for this team, because I think he's been our best centre-back. He's been amazing. And yeah, so I'm going to say Joe Rodon. Last but not least, we have to go with another player. You can talk about each position. You can talk about in the defences. I've already talked about, but you can talk about left back and right back. But we got options there, that have done a job. Byram, even though he's injured, does a job. We've got Connor Roberts now into the team. So Archie Gray and Connor Roberts can both do a job. We haven't seen much of Connor Roberts, but you know what I mean. You got left back with Farm. We've got Furpo playing well, and Byram, of course, that can play. They'll play there. Third place playing fine at the moment. You know, you look at the wingers, and besides Somerville, Dan James, you've seen, you know, Nonto come in and do well. But for the end of the season, I think Bamford's going to be crucial. That's going to be my last player, Patrick Bamford. Now, going off what I say about Patrick Bamford and saying this, I'm not saying that without him we are screwed. But I can't think of another player where if we lost him, we'll be like, oh no, we're in a lot of trouble. You could maybe say Ampadu, but at the moment he's playing at centre back, you know, and I don't mind Cooper coming in for 1 game, 2 games. Depending on how bad the injury is, of course, maybe it will matter. But I don't mind Cooper coming in for 1 or 2 games. I think he'll do a job with Rodon next to him. And that's why I don't think Ampadu is. And I know up front we've been fine with Pirro, but I do feel like Bamford just offers that difference. And since the turn of the year, you've seen that difference. You've seen us play like a completely different team. He's injured right now, and I think he'll be back for the Chelsea FA Cup game if he chooses to play him. He might play in that game, he might not. He might come off the bench against Leicester. He might be fit enough to come off the bench against Leicester. I don't think he'll start in the Leicester game. But Bamford up front makes the team play completely different because he occupies 2 defenders and he occupies those centre-backs so well and makes them move around and does so well at just, you know, his movement. We all know how great his movement is, and it's the way he moves the defenders around and opens up space for your Somervilles, for your Dan James, for your Nontos, for your Rutters. He just opens up all that space. And yeah, he's going to have to be on here because I think he's massive for the rest of the season. And let's actually do 6 because I just forgot a massive one. I'm sorry, boys. Let's do 6 players because I just thought of a massive one that I just forgot. It's Jorginho Rutter. I forgot about the number 10 situation of, do we have a second number 10? Who's our backup number 10? I want to actually see in the comment section down below who you think our backup 10 is. I think Fark sees Rutter. Not Rutter's the starter. I think Fark sees Pirro as the backup 10 if Rutter gets injured and Bamford's fit. But behind him, who is it? Gelhardt, I think. Probably Gelhardt, you'd say, would be the backup. So Rutter's massive for the rest of the season. It would be so Leeds, wouldn't it, for Rutter to get in, for us to, I know we're second right now, but for us to go close to the end of the season and we just fail and we're going into the playoffs. We're going into the playoffs, or we're going into the run-in at the end of the season where we need to win every game and then Rutter gets injured. Rutter would be a massive blow for us as he's the only number 10 we've really got that can play there at a high level the way he does. No, Gelhardt won't play at the level he does, but I think Gelhardt's a good player if he gets the minutes, because I feel like Gelhardt can offer us something this season for the rest of the season. I think he can offer stuff off the bench, but not as a starter for me. And then you got Pirro, who he can't do what Rutter can do, and there's no one else that can do what Rutter can do. So Jorginho Rutter is a massive one. I've completely forgot about him, sorry. But they're the 6 players that I think are massive for the end of the season. And I think we're going to have to hope that those players don't get injured. Besides the Bamford, you know, because he is injured, where Pirro can come in and it's not as bad, but you just see the different ways we play with Bamford and without Bamford. But Jorginho Rutter, I think if I'm going to have to choose the worst one to get injured and the one we can't get injured out of all of them, it's Jorginho Rutter. Because we just don't have a backup number 10. Somerville, yes, he's our best player, but you can put Dan James on the right and put Nonto on the left, or you can play Anthony on the left. Where if the number 10 gets injured, who do you play there? Maybe Nonto plays there, but I don't think Fark sees it that way, and he'll either play Pirro if Bamford's fit and he can play Pirro on the 10, or it's Gelhardt next to I think. I think Gelhardt's after that. That's why it's a bit of if Rutter gets injured, I'm like, oh no, because Rutter's been on the ground sometimes this season, like in attack, I'm like, oh, don't be injured. Like, that would be the massive blow if that happened towards the end of the season. Hopefully it doesn't, please. But thanks for watching the video. If you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you boys in the next one. Peace.